Imagine a quiet March evening in 2008 in Auburn, Alabama. A small university town full of life, full of young people who came here to study, to fall in love, to build their futures. Auburn University, a place where thousands of students felt safe every single year. But on that night, March 4th, that safety was brutally shattered. This is not just another tragic crime story. This is the story of the incredible courage of an 18-year-old girl who fought until her very last breath. This is the story of Courtney Larrell Lockhart, a former soldier who returned from Iraq, broken and ready to destroy someone else's life. And it's the story of a judge who overruled the jury and sent a man to death row. This is the murder of Lauren Ashley Burk. Lauren was born on December 30th, 1989, in Marietta, Georgia. Her parents, James Jim Burke and Vivian Gershon, were divorced but co-parented beautifully. She had a brother and a sister, and she grew up surrounded by love. Her father described her as an angel, a happy girl who always saw the bright side of life and never wanted to hurt anyone. In high school at Walton High, she was a star. Popular, a leader, an excellent student. She was the captain of the lacrosse team and excelled at everything she did. The school principal remembered her as a great leader, a wonderful child, and a very good student. Everyone loved her. She had that radiant smile that lit up every room she walked into. After graduating in 2007, she enrolled at Auburn University. She was a freshman studying graphic design and art. She dreamed of a career in photography and marketing. She was an active member of the Delta Gamma sorority, played lacrosse, and quickly fit into campus life. She had a boyfriend named Sean, and she spent a lot of time with him. Everyone who knew her said the same thing. She was smart, kind, full of life, and always ready to help others. But on March 4th, 2008, everything changed forever. Lauren woke up like any other day. She had breakfast with Sean. They went to classes together around 11 a.m., and afterward they hung out at his place. Around 8 p.m. that evening, Lauren told Sean she was going to the library to study with a friend. She kissed him, said, "See you later," and walked toward her black 2001 Honda Civic, parked at the end of the campus parking lot. She was carrying her bag, her iPod, and her wallet. She had no idea that someone was watching her from the shadows. In that parking lot, hidden in the darkness, waited Courtney Larrell Lockhart, a 23-year-old whose life had become complete chaos. Born in 1984, he joined the U.S. Army in 2003 with big dreams of becoming a drill sergeant. He completed basic training at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, was stationed at Fort Carson, Colorado, then sent to South Korea, and in 2004 to Iraq. He saw war, but instead of coming back stronger, he began to fall apart. He returned in 2005. He started smoking marijuana, drinking, fighting with fellow soldiers, threatening officers, and going AWOL. In one incident in the cafeteria, he argued with a group of soldiers, pushed someone, and threatened an officer. He was court-martialed for threats, drug use, and assault. He spent 7 months in military prison and received a dishonorable discharge in December 2006. A mental evaluation before discharge said he was normal, but later military officials criticized those evaluations as superficial. He came home broken, unemployed, full of anger and despair. He began stealing and robbing to get easy money. On the evening of March 4th, 2008, he was cruising around the Auburn campus looking for a victim. When he saw Lauren walking to her car, he approached her from behind, pointed a .38 caliber revolver at her, and, "Give me your money." Lauren had no choice. She got into the passenger seat and he took the wheel. He drove her into the night. They drove for about 30 minutes around Auburn and the surrounding area, passing bars, stores and restaurants in the center. Lauren was terrified, but she tried to talk to him. She asked what he wanted and why he was doing this. Lockhart started complaining, how he had no job, how his life was ruined, how nobody understood him. She even told him she could help him find a job. She was kind even in that nightmare. But then the situation escalated. He ordered her to take off all her clothes. She was left wearing only her socks. He took her wallet, debit card, iPod, everything she had. Lauren realized this was no longer just a robbery. While the car was still moving, she decided to take a risk. She opened the passenger door and jumped out, completely naked, vulnerable, at full speed. Lockhart reacted instantly. He fired at close range. The bullet entered the left side of her back, passed through both lungs, and exited through her right arm. Lauren fell onto the asphalt of Alabama Highway 147 between Lee Road 72 and US 280. She was covered in road rash, bleeding badly, but she still got up. She began waving her arms, screaming for help. She was crying, gasping for air, completely naked except for her socks. 2 drivers saw her. One immediately stopped, took off his jacket, and covered her to give her at least some dignity. They called 911 around 9 p.m. Lauren was still conscious, but she was fading fast. Paramedics rushed her to East Alabama Medical Center. She arrived around 9:35 p.m. Doctors fought for nearly an hour, but the damage was too severe. She died from massive internal bleeding. The preliminary autopsy showed death was caused by a single gunshot wound, homicide. Meanwhile, Lockhart didn't stop. He drove her Honda Civic back to the campus, parked it in the same spot in the Hinton Field parking lot, doused it with gasoline, and set it on fire to destroy evidence. Then he fled in his silver Chrysler Sebring. Over the next few days, he continued his crime spree. On March 5th, he robbed a woman at gunpoint in a parking lot near a nursing home in LaGrange. And on March 6th, he robbed another woman with a small child at Sam's Club in Columbus. He even used Lauren's debit card to buy gas. The police moved quickly. Witnesses heard 2 gunshots, saw the naked girl running and waving. They found clues. 3 days later, on March 7th, they arrested Courtney Lockhart in Phoenix City during a traffic stop. He had Lauren's black iPod with him. He confessed to everything: the kidnapping, the robbery, the shooting. In his handwritten confession he wrote, "We were driving, talking about my life. She said she could help me find a job. Then the gun went off and she jumped." At the 2010 trial in Lee County Circuit Court, the defense claimed the shooting was accidental, that Lockhart suffered from PTSD from the Iraq War, and that he never meant to kill her. They said the gun just went off. The jury didn't believe it. After 6.5 hours of deliberation, they found him guilty of capital murder during kidnapping and robbery. Unanimously, 12-0, they recommended life in prison without the possibility of parole. They acquitted him of attempted rape. But then something rare and controversial happened. Judge Jacob Walker refused to accept the jury's recommendation. Using his power of judicial override, he sentenced Lockhart to death. The reason? Lockhart's long criminal history, his dishonorable discharge from the army, the robberies before and after Lauren's murder, and the fact that he had attacked other women. The jury had not heard the full extent of this evidence because the judge had ruled some of it inadmissible during the guilt phase. Lauren's family sat in the courtroom, crying. Her father, Jim Burke, looked Lockhart in the face and said, "I hope your daughter never has to go through what my Lauren went through." Her mother, Viviane, later said, "He didn't give her a second chance. Why should we give him one?" During the penalty phase, even Lockhart's own mother, Catherine Williams, cried and told Viviane, "I'm so sorry from the bottom of my heart. If I could, I would hug you." As of 2026, Courtney Lockhart remains on death row at Holman Correctional Facility in Alabama. All his appeals have been denied in 2020, 2021, and later years. The sentence stands. He is one of the few inmates in Alabama who received a death sentence despite a unanimous jury recommendation for life. Lauren Burk was only 18 years old. She wanted to live, to love, to create. Instead, she became a symbol of courage in the worst possible moment. Because even naked, wounded, and inside a moving car, she fought. She jumped. She tried to survive. Witnesses said she fought until the very end. This story reminds us how fragile life is, how important it is to be careful, especially at night on campus, how important it is to cherish every moment with the people we love. Lauren did not deserve this ending, but she died as a fighter. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments which true crime case you want next. Thank you for watching until the end. Stay safe out there. You never know what's lurking in the dark.